This Sunday morning, I was watching YouTube on TV, and it just come into my mind. I said, I wonder if old Robert Schuller of the Hour of Power, Crystal Cathedral in Orange County, California, I wonder if he's got anything on YouTube. Because we used to watch him in the 1970s and 1980s. And I remember we'd have kids over, nieces and nephews, and they'd wake up Sunday morning, and I would put that Hour of Power on, and they would scamper and run away into the bedroom. They didn't want to hear anything about Jesus Christ. They went in that bedroom and they locked the door and they stayed in there. Well, that's okay. I didn't give them a hard time over it. And I just wondered, hey, is there anything on YouTube about Robert Schuller? So I went looking around, and sure enough, he had some shows on. So I watched one of his shows. In fact, it was probably one of the first ones that he televised. And as you remember, well, you may not know, that his shtick was that he invented preaching to a drive-in theater full of cars. He was the innovator of that. Well, probably the only one and last one who did it. But that's what he became famous for, is preaching in a drive-in theater with a lot packed full of cars. So I was listening to him, and this particular first telecast of his, probably in the I don't know, from 1965 to 1970, just by looking at the cars, I was trying to guesstimate the year. And I was listening to him, and I said to myself, if Robert Schuller preached today, he would be just as powerful as he was back in the 60s and 70s. He was that good. And what part of his appeal was is that he knew Americans were not only hungry for Christ, but they were hungry for success. And if anything can define America, it's the love and desire for success. And he preached to that. And people loved it. I loved it because it was very motivational. At that time, I was selling real estate in Miami. And of course, when you're in sales, you always got to keep motivated. But I was just saying to myself, this guy is good. This preacher is excellent. If he was around today, in fact, if they ever just reran his stuff, he would have an audience, or whoever published it would have an audience. So that's my interesting revisit to Robert Schuller. Of course, he died in the 90s at some time. He was 80 some years old, but still powerful show, powerful preaching.